All right, let's talk about something that's on every beauty professional's mind. How do you protect your license? You've worked so hard for it, and navigating the world of industry regulations can be, well, a little tricky. We're going to break down how to do just that.
I mean, think about everything you've poured into this career. Getting licensed, honing your skills. Maybe you're renting a booth or you've even opened your own salon. It's a real journey, right? It takes so much dedication, so much time, and, let's be honest, a serious investment. You build it up, piece by piece.
But then, what happens when a regulator's decision threatens to take all of that away? It's a pretty terrifying thought, isn't it? One inspection, one complaint, one simple misunderstanding, and suddenly everything you've built feels like it could just crumble. So what are you supposed to do? How do you actually protect yourself?
Well, to get to the answer, we have to understand what the real problem is. And here's the thing. It's usually not about bad laws or, some evil regulator out to get you. It's about something way more common and honestly more confusing, the human factor. It's all about how those rules get applied in the real world day in and day out. And look, let's get one thing straight. Regulations, they're absolutely essential. They exist for really good reasons, right? To protect public health, make sure everything is sanitary and safe, and to maintain consumer trust. They uphold the professional standards that make our industry credible. So, yeah, we definitely need them.
But here's where the tension comes in. The laws themselves are written down once. They're black and white. But enforcement? That happens every single day. It's dynamic. It's carried out by different people and different salons under totally different circumstances. And that is where things start to get complicated.
You can kind of think of it like a chain. First, you have the legislatures who make the laws. Then the agencies write the specific regulations. But the final and most important link in that chain? It's the people. The inspectors, the board staff, the ones who actually show up and enforce those rules. That's where all the variation can happen.
And that right there, that's what we're calling the human factor. And listen, it doesn't mean anyone has bad intentions. A totally well-meaning inspector might be using old guidance. Or maybe you get two different agents who interpret the exact same rule in two totally different ways. The result for you? Confusion, risk, even when everyone thinks they're doing the right thing.
Okay, so if the problem is human inconsistency, then what's the solution? How do you deal with that? Well, it's not about getting into fights or defying the system. No, it's about building a shield of professionalism. It's a strategy that's all about discipline, not defiance.
And this brings us to what we call the gold standard compliance model. And the whole idea behind it is actually pretty simple. Your power comes from being professional, being clear, and, this is the big one, being incredibly well documented.
So, what does that look like in practice? Here are the 6 key actions that build up that shield. You'll see a pattern here. It's all about being respectful, being curious, and being super meticulous. So, number 1, always respect authority. 2, ask questions, not to argue, but to genuinely understand. 3, and this is crucial, request written confirmation. 4, document everything. 5, when in doubt, over-comply. Don't just do the bare minimum. And last, number 6, you only escalate if and only if you absolutely have to.
Okay, that all sounds good in theory, but does this stuff actually work? Let's take a look at some real stories from different states where beauty pros just like you use these exact principles to protect their careers and, in some cases, even change unfair rules for everyone.
First up, Texas. Get this. Eyebrow threaders were being told they needed a full 750-hour cosmetology license. The crazy part? The schools didn't even teach threading. So by documenting how absurd this was, they were able to take it to court. And the Texas Supreme Court agreed. They literally called the requirement unconstitutionally irrational. It's a perfect example of how professional documentation can win.
Then you've got Pennsylvania. There was this rule that said cosmetologists had to have good moral character, and it was being used to deny licenses because of old, unrelated criminal records. But here's the inconsistency they pointed out. Barbers who do super similar work had no rule like that at all. When a court saw that comparison side by side, they called it absurd and threw the rule out.
And check out this journey in Oklahoma. A lash artist, fully licensed in Texas, moves to Oklahoma, but the state wouldn't recognize her license. So for years, she respectfully petitioned the board. She documented all of her qualifications. She did everything right. When that didn't work, she finally escalated and filed a lawsuit. And you know what happened? Before a judge even made a ruling, the state just went ahead and changed the law, creating a brand new lash license. Her persistence and professionalism actually changed the whole system.
All right, pop quiz time.
What do you think this big number represents when we're talking about beauty regulations? Any guesses?
0. That's the number of safety complaints about hair braiding in Mississippi in the entire decade after they got rid of their braiding license. See, for years, braiders were forced to get these expensive, totally irrelevant cosmetology licenses. Mississippi eliminated that rule back in 2005, and for the next 10 years, crickets. Not a single health or safety complaint. It's pretty powerful proof that just because a regulation is burdensome doesn't mean it's actually keeping people safe.
So these stories really show the power of being disciplined and professional, right? So let's wrap all this up. Let's take everything we've learned and build a practical toolkit that you can start using, like today, to protect your license.
Okay, here's what goes in your professional toolkit. Number 1, always ask for clarifying questions in writing. Get that email. Number 2, document all your communications and your training. Create that paper trail. Number 3, preserve your timelines and records. Keep everything organized. Number 4, over-comply, don't under-comply. It's always the safer bet. And finally, know how to seek a higher level review if you need it, and remember to escalate respectfully and only when it's your last resort.
At the end of the day, you have to remember this. Your license is protected by what you can prove. It's not just a piece of paper on the wall. It's a valuable asset, and your diligence is what protects it. Every email you save, every certificate you file away, every single time you get something in writing, it all adds up. Your professionalism really is your best defense.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's your best defense? Is it a good lawyer or is it a good record? Now, don't get me wrong, a good lawyer is absolutely invaluable when you need one. But what these stories show us is that a great record, built over time with professional discipline, well, that might be the very thing that keeps you from ever needing to call that lawyer in the first place.